BookTube, my name is Danica and today I have a book tag for you. First of all, just a reminder, I'm still doing the giveaway of the signed copy of Anna and the French Kiss by Stephanie Perkins, so if you'd like to enter to win that, the link will be in the description below. So for the first decade of the 1900s, I have Beyond the Pale by Elana Dykewomon, which was not written in the 1900s, but it is set in the 1900s. I haven't read it yet, but I've heard really good things about it, and how can I resist the name Dykewomon? That's amazing. Next I have the 1910s, and this was the most difficult one for me, but I found Gertrude Stein, her letters and writings, 1909 to 1945, which is close enough. I haven't read anything by Gertrude Stein yet, but since every lesbian names her cat after her, I have to know. For the 1920s, I actually had a lot to choose from, which was surprising, including the lesbian classic, The Well of Loneliness, but I decided not to go with this one, and instead to choose one of my favorite books from last year, which was The Last Nude by Ellis Avery, which is set in the 1920s, and these both have matching covers, because they're both by the artist in this book. Really great, kind of heartbreaking, but a really great story. Next is the 1930s, and I actually picked a book written in the 1930s for this one, and that's Nightwood by Djuna Barnes, which is a lesbian classic that, again, I still haven't read. The next decade is the 1940s, and I picked Aimee and Jaguar, a love story, which is set in Berlin in 1943. This is actually a non-fiction book, and it's so good. I would really recommend this one. It almost reads like a novel. I was about halfway through it before I realized that it's actually a biography of these two women's real story set in World War II in Germany between a Jewish and German woman, and it's an amazing story. I really love this one. For the 1950s, I couldn't resist picking Lesbian Pulp Fiction. This is a collection of excerpts from different lesbian pulp fiction books, and they range from the 1950s to the 1960s, but you can't resist these awful covers, and they have both the covers and the blurbs included in the book, so you get to see the absolutely terrible way they're advertised. The 1960s, I also picked one that was written in that decade, and that is Patience and Sarah by Isabel Miller, which is one of my favorite books. And it is a historical fiction that's actually set in the early 19th century, and it's just a really cute story, and I really like this one. For the 1970s, I picked one that I've actually already shown you guys in a book haul. It's The Cook and the Carpenter, which is a book that is written in the 1970s, and throughout it, it has gender-neutral pronouns, which appear to be nan and na. That should be interesting. And for the 1980s, I picked another lesbian classic that I really love, Rubyfruit Jungle by Rita Mae Brown. If you're going to read pretty much any kind of classic lesbian book, I would pick this one. It's so much fun to read. It's still really relevant and interesting today, and I just love the tone of it. And for the 1990s, I could have picked many books written in the 1990s, but instead I picked a book recently written but set in the 1990s, which I've already talked about lots before because it's one of my favorite books, and that's The Miseducation of Cameron Post by Emily M. Danforth. It's incredible, it's written so well, the story's so great, and it's just one of my favorite books ever. So that was the 20th century book tag, made lesbian. I hope you liked it, and remember to enter for the giveaway if you're interested in a signed copy of Anna and the French Kiss by Stephanie Perkins, and thanks again for watching. Bye!